First time here in Malta, and it's my utmost pleasure to have the opportunity to be here. Talking of opportunities, I'll give a short background of Nigeria's oil industry as I speak on opportunities and the role of indigenous companies in a growing oil industry. Oil exploration in Nigeria started with Shell Darcy in 1908 during the colonial government era. The First and Second World Wars caused a disruption in exploration until 1947. It later grew from 28 wells and a production of 5,100 barrels per day to the current 1,481 wells, which now produce approximately 2.5 million barrels per day from 159 oil fields, according to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC. Nigeria's population, at over 170 million, makes it the largest country in Africa and 7th largest in the world. It is projected by United Nations that Nigeria could have the world's 4th largest population by 2030 and potentially surpass the United States by 2050. The Nigerian petroleum industry is the largest of its kind on the African continent, and as of 2014, the 12th largest in the world, with oil reserves estimated to be 37.2 billion barrels and proven natural gas resources reserves of 180 trillion cubic meters. Its oil and gas economy is very successful, but needs sustenance for continued growth. Unfortunately, despite the abundant renewable and non-renewable mineral resources, Nigeria has not been able to meet the energy needs of its people. This is the reason why the industry needs to be strengthened and more exploration activities should be encouraged. The industry has been largely dominated by the international oil and gas companies, IOCs. Due to the dynamic environment of the industry, the IOCs have taken opportunities further offshore Nigeria. This has created new avenues for other entrants to acquire acreage the IOCs divested from, as these were either onshore or marginal field assets. This divestment program, together with local content legislation, positive government policies, and Nigerian entrepreneurs' ability to raise capital, as well as form alliances and foreign partnerships, has resulted in the rise of the Nigerian indigenous oil and gas companies. The corollary to this has been increased technical competence, job creation, and a reduction in capital outflow for the country. Yet, there is more to be done on all fronts. There have been several success stories which have ranged from the completion of the $1.5 billion ConocoPhillips assets purchased by Oando to Seplat's landmark stock listing in Lagos and London in April 2014. Other deals are currently in the pipeline and going through approvals. In terms of reserves capacity, Nigeria has the 10th largest petroleum reserves. Out of the 2.5 million barrels of daily produced crude oil, indigenous companies contribute about 10%. The contribution is bound to increase, and as projected, a target of 30% contribution could be attained by 2030. So what does this all mean for potential investors? There are abundant opportunities for investors in ensuring that Commonwealth citizens and businesses have access to affordable, sustainable, and reliable sources of energy. Opportunities abound in the oil and gas sector and the power sector. These can be in exploration activities, development, and production. Provision of infrastructure is also an important area, including, for instance, oil and gas pipelines and the manufacturing of electricity meters. The electricity distribution companies in Nigeria are yet to provide effective metering solutions to the majority of the consumers. Nigeria as a nation needs an additional 10,000 megawatts daily to meet its electricity demand. Though a large amount of funds are required to bridge this gap, it also presents huge business opportunities for firms that are looking for growth opportunities in the sector. Most African countries are open to foreign companies' participation in the sector, either directly or indirectly. Some of these options include partnering with indigenous companies. Recent government policies suggest that partnering with indigenous companies is the most welcome option, open to investors. In Nigeria, indigenous companies are Nigerian registered companies which are at least 51% owned by Nigerians and 49% by foreign investors. They offer investors the best opportunities because they can deliver value in the following ways. They are investing in acreages that are not deemed big enough for national and international oil companies. Because of their lean organizational structures, indigenous companies are operating these fields profitably, which has also increased government's tax revenue. The development and detailed studies carried out by indigenous operators on these fields also helps in growing the nation's reserves. They are better able to relate to host communities and hire locals, which in turn reduce the incidence of community disturbances and the resultant economic loss that emanates from such actions. This ensures steady oil production and enables sound financial planning for both operators and the government. Again, through strong synergy between the industry and universities, both in Nigeria and abroad, research centers can be built to facilitate technology growth in Nigeria to support the industry. The oil and gas industry is a technology-driven one, and as such, requires constant research for technology improvement at reduced costs. If they can support university programs towards research, it will improve the quality of research that can be undertaken by universities. Most IOCs were successful because of this kind of partnership. They should encourage competitive education in Nigeria in collaboration with the government through the provision of scholarships to Nigerian students. This will aid them in acquiring deeper knowledge and technical know-how that can be useful afterwards. Our company, Fafo Oil Limited, and its partners has given scholarships to 10,322 engineering and medical students between 2008 and 2014. Infrastructure is another opportunity. Indigenous companies can take a lead in the ownership of petroleum product storage facilities. Companies such as Seplat and NDPC have a pipeline which runs from Amukpe to Forcados. This increases economies of scale and invariably becomes a cost-effective method of getting the crude and gas to market, which in turn leads to lower pump prices. Another example is the construction of the Dangote Oil Refinery Company, with a capacity of about 600,000 barrels of crude oil per day. In the area of funding, there are several options available to investors. Investors can partner with development banks that are focused on energy improvement and can access huge loans from international financial institutions or banks as a result of past dealings and performances. Recently, the chairman of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, stated that there are plans by the African Development Bank and other agencies to invest $250 billion in the Nigerian power sector over the next 15 years. Again, businesses can also raise funds via bonds or selling of shares. Also, startup firms and emerging companies can source for finance from venture capitalist companies to fund their businesses. In conclusion, one thing is certain: the IOCs are going to continue divesting their assets in Nigeria, and there are clear opportunities for foreign and oil gas companies to partner with Nigerian ones to take advantage of this shifting paradigm. I would like to close by saying the future is bright in Nigeria. The future is energy. The future is now. Thank you for this.